I want to stay on poker for a minute though. Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
what's the most I'm not a poker guy. I've never really played other than just for fun, like really, really tiny amounts of money with friends. So I don't know what I'm doing. Kyle, what's the most, and this goes for Joe as well, because I know you play some. What's the most you've won and the most you've lost? Like in a single night, I guess.
I would usually the game I'm describing is a game that I never played in. It's the game my dad plays in now. I wouldn't want any part of that, especially back then. I would show up with $2,000 or $2,500 cash, and I'd buy in for 500, and I'd be ready to reload. The second time I'm buying in for 1,000 if I lose my 500 because I'm trying to get my 500 back. But there's been nights where I lost all 2,500, but there's definitely been nights where I came out with like 7,500, like won 5,000 or lost 2,500. It'd kind of go up, and I mean, we would keep tallies, Dad and I, and like in the long run, I won. I was ahead a lot, and he was ahead an enormous amount, like 6 figures or something like that in the course of a year. But we're just playing like small town at somebody's garage or somebody's place of work. I'm not gonna say exactly where. Maybe a club.
Can you,
maybe one of those clubs.
NSA an address
maybe,
real quick?
maybe like a
throw that out.
Maybe like a moose club or something, like some other animal. So, those sort of games where it's like a private institution.
The people who are winning and losing 20 and 40 grand in a night, how would you ballpark their annual income?
They're business owners. They're all business owners. That these are guys who own like a couple of
from North Carolina. I might know people that play in this game.
Georgia.
Okay, don't know.
These are guys who own like a livestock barn that like does $10 million of revenue a year, or these are guys who like own like a chain of barbecue restaurants that are each making like $50,000 a week.
I have a friend that lives in North Carolina that plays with like a bunch of like furniture magnates.
Sure.
And he has been playing in their weekly, sometimes twice a week poker game for the last 15 years, and that is his job. That's all he does.
Good for that guy.
Play against these guys in poker 2 nights a week.
It's a scary situation, honestly, when you think about it. Like one of the games I played in was in a bar, and the night we played, there would be no drinking, and there's a guy at the bar with a gun, so you're not really worried about getting robbed. And that game in particular, there'd never be more than probably $40,000 in the house, but the game that they play now, there's gotta be 150,000 in the house, maybe 200,000.
Does everybody have guns to make sure it's safe?
Nobody has guns.
It is Georgia.
Nobody has guns.
There's not a lot of guns at the games I hear of either.
And I'm not talking about the players shouldn't have guns. Let me just say that. But I was like, why don't they slip some guy? Everybody chip in $50, and some guy sits in the corner with a shotgun, and that's his job. He's gonna.
I want to be that guy, and then I'm gonna rob everyone.
One of you,
by the end of the night, he's like, God damn, they paid me $50 a piece. Hell, they're betting $200 a card.
Fuck you guys, give me all your money. I only know about what I've seen in movies where people come in and rob those games, and there's always like some Italian guy like, you know who you're coming for? I'm just letting you know. People coming. We're going to find you. Like that kind of shit. I'm glad to know that it's like that in the South too, where there's got
I've never heard of a game
old boy. No, I mean like they've got an old boy sitting there with a sawed off. Just
they don't though. They should. That's what I was.
Somebody tried to rob a poker game in my hometown, which is just coincidence. I had nothing to do with it. And
statute of limitations is up, Joe. It's okay.
They got their asses kicked. Like the players in the game hospitalized all of them.
Wow.
Whoa.
And they had guns. So it's a really hard thing to pull off because you don't know if people are armed. You don't know. Look, underground poker is an element of crime, and most crime that happens has some sort of organized crime connection to it. So that thing of like, do you know who you're robbing? That's actually kind of real.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean,
if definitely in major cities, like there's probably, if there is any sort of unorganized crime element, then they're like, well, if you want to have a game here, then we'd like 5% of your game.
Exactly.
And we'll look after your game, But what I'm describing is nothing like that. This is a bunch of good old boys who all own like businesses, and they get together on given night of the week and gamble a bit.
When those guys like in Ganu, and when I flip past ESPN or whatever, and I see first of all, I'll only stop if it's a cash game because it's cool to see that much money on the table.
Negreanu.
Like,
and Negreanu's a UFC fighter, so I was like, oh, are we going right into it already?
Oh no, Negreanu, my bad. So
Taylor
when you say
UFC,
when you say it's like $100,000 buy-in, someone told me once, they're like, yeah, but it's not his $100,000. That's Red Bull's $100,000 that they're putting down for him. Is that true?
They're partly right. There are no corporate sponsors in poker. So sometimes, I mean, unless you count online poker sites or gambling sites as sponsors, there's no Red Bull, there's no Tide, it's a nightmare. Nobody wants to touch poker, which is why poker struggles without online poker being legal in America. You'll see there's way less poker on TV. Fewer poker on TV. There's way less poker on TV than ever, and that's because it's just very difficult to advertise during. So no, but you're partially right, and that oftentimes they are only risking, I would say, in $100,000 tournament, often they're risking 4 or 5% of their own money. Some people have 100%, but it's pretty rare. Yeah. And most of the time they're mitigating that risk by buying pieces of other players who they know are excellent players, and they kind of all share the risk in that respect. And some of them have outside backers that do this for them, that they're actually kind of an employee of sorts, where their backer gives them $100,000, and if they win, they get to keep 20% of it or 60% or whatever it is they work out in that deal. So yes, it is rare that someone has all of themselves, but it ain't Popeye's chicken, unfortunately.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's all poker related stuff, it seems. It's a real shame that they cracked down on the online poker thing, because
why the hell wouldn't corporations want to sponsor it? Or is that like it's a law that they can't?
Well, it's go ahead. I was just going to talk about the law.
Legal things, I don't really know. It's just more of like a brand image thing, where poker is still seen as this, as a vice, as a thing that it isn't legal in every state. Like, it's not legal in Texas, I don't think, to play Texas Hold'em. Things may have lightened up recently, but so as an advertiser, that's kind of weird, right? Like, there's advertisers that won't advertise weed. That's something that's not legal in every state. I mean, it's kind of on that same thing.
That's shitty. It shouldn't be. Yeah, it's just so weird to get a bad image if fucking Popeyes. Like, who's going to be like, oh, Popeyes, I'm no longer interested in your chicken sandwich. You sponsored a poker man. Like,
yeah, but there are some, like the people who get outraged over things. There are people that would be outraged over this, who think gambling is a sin, or that don't understand. Now, we talked about underground games and robberies and this and that because it's like the most glamorous, romanticized thing that we can think about when we think about poker. That makes up 0.00001% of really what happens in poker. Most of it is a truly a good competition played by fair and honest competitors who have studied and worked hard and are tax-paying, everyday people. But that is the side people don't see, that the sponsors don't see, that they see the underground poker room, the smoke-filled room, the guns under the table, the robberies, the people with gambling problems. That's that's what mainstream advertisers see when they think of poker.
Isn't that so funny? It's like, we don't want to get we here at Anheuser-Busch don't want to get involved with anyone who might have a gambling problem.
Right, exactly.
Well, it's like the South Park parody of all the booze commercials where it's like, drink, 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 you on this beach, fucking this girl, drink, 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 drink. Please drink responsibly.
It is kind of weird. I would say poker is closer to chess nowadays than it is to some sort of seedy underground thing, which comes with its own set of problems. But in my opinion, it is.
Is there like a tiered kind of level of respect among poker players? Because you'll see around the table or whatever, some guys are sitting there just nothing on their face, just looking around. Other guys have like a bandana on and a cowboy hat and big grandma glasses,
upside down glasses.
Yeah, upside down, just stuff to throw them off so they can't see.
Semi-far hop.
Are the guys who are like just plain faced? Are they kind of like, come on, really?
Okay, so
the sunglasses guy?
To put this in perspective, yes, to answer your question, but to put this in perspective, let's say that you are you, Taylor. Okay,
I'm doing a good job imagining.
You're a fun guy. You like to chat with people at the table. You got a good personality. You're good on camera, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that you are so good at poker and so good at math and so good at calculating ROI that you figured out if when you're sitting at the poker table, if you sat there and didn't speak to anyone and weren't friendly and just were very robotic, but you would make an extra $500 an hour while you play poker.
Yeah.
Would you?
I would be the most boring man in America.
Why would he make an extra 500 for being straight-faced?
Because these guys realize that there's nothing in it for them to be chatty at the table. It takes away from their concentration. It may give things away. It just really hurts their bottom line to not be that sort of stoic, robotic Terminator like figure out there. For them to if they had the desire to be chatty, it would hurt them. It would be minus EV is what they would call it for them to sort of.
Doesn't it work the other way? I mean, I would hope that if I'm a complete jackass, it hurts your bottom line. I'm knocking you off your game.
Yeah, but these guys can't really, for the most part, can't be knocked off their game. Like they are just so good and so zeroed in, and your goofiness is gonna hurt you way more than it's gonna hurt them. Look,
so you're saying basically like, if me shutting the fuck up and sitting there robotic, I make an extra $500 an hour. Then I do another little ROI analysis. Oh, if I wear sunglasses, I make an extra $750 an hour on top of that. Better wear sunglasses. Oh, I make an extra $250 an hour. I'm $1,500 an hour up if I just wear this hat, sunglasses, and shut up. Like that kind of little ROI thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that amount of money, obviously, but just that sort of thing. Just knowing that, okay, if I disguise as much of my face as possible, I know that I'm going to be a better poker player by 0.00001%, which is going to equal this much in the long run.